I had a strange, weird conversion. I was radically converted. And my goodness, I was saved for about a year or a year and a half before I met my wife. But Lisa can tell you horror stories about getting to know me. Because I'm not joking. She's sitting over there. You can ask her after service. Because my past was so bad, which you'll never know about it, so don't ask. When I heard the good news about Jesus, it made perfect sense for me. I gave my heart to Christ, and I knew that's it. It happened. But what happened to me was when I began to take a deep, deep meditative look at what Jesus did in my life and who he is, my past sin made me so sick, I went into a 3-year funk. I went into a 3-year fit of depression that if it wasn't for my wife and a few friends at Calvary Costa Mesa scooping me up and encouraging me, I probably would have just dropped dead. Why? Because, listen, before I met Jesus, I was a happy, rotten, stinking sinner. I just didn't know I was a sinner. I was having a ball. And then I heard the gospel and found out what Jesus did for me, and the reality of my sin became so great. I mean, I got born again, but then I felt so bad for having done this to Jesus all my life that I carried a load on my back, self-imposed, mind you, of condemnation. I thought, my friends would tell me, oh man, you would have been a great Muslim because you would have been flogging yourself with the chain. You know how they beat themselves with the bloody razors? That was me. Wham! Whoa, I have to make atonement for my sins. Wait a minute, Jesus did that. And people would say, Jack, come on, man, Jesus died on the cross for your sins. I know he did, but I'm so wicked. And all I could think about was my past. And the Lord had taken care, he had dealt with the past. I was overwhelmed by that. Completely blew my mind. And I saw myself unfit for heaven, not because I was arrogant or proud. It's because I thought Jesus died for you, and he loved you, and he had died for you, and he had died for you. But to enjoy that reality in my own life, I didn't know. And Lisa knows, when I used to have a bad thought, you knew if I had a bad thought. Because I would put my head in my hands. I would either cry or I would pound my head because I couldn't get the images out of my mind of my past. You guys, I likened that time of my life like to Martin Luther. He used to just beat his head up. I would have drained my head of the pictures if I could have. Little did I know my position in Jesus Christ was secure. Little did I know that God in his patience knew that I would sometime get out of this thing and really put my weight on what he had done so that someday I could tell people about him. Because my friend, without the assurance of your salvation, you don't want to tell people nothing. You can't witness to anybody. And the church is sick. I'm not saying this church, but there's people in this church. And there's churches that are sick. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean sick. They're ill because they're consumed by their failure and by their lack. And they don't understand that holiness first begins positionally in Jesus Christ, that from there you get to come out from. My friend, look at nature. An orange on a tree comes from the fact that the root is sucking strength from the ground, from the earth, water, nutrients from the sun. It's putting it all together. And how do you know? How do you know? Because on the end of the tree there's an apple or there's an orange hanging there. All the amazing stuff takes place invisibly. And the moment you understand that God saved you, God called you, God is doing it, and he desires now for you to walk holy in this life is not some Amish-looking, works-centered, legalistic push to be something that you'll never be. It is a letting go. It is a bowing down. It is a, Lord, do what you want. Keep me yielded to you, God. And when you get up from that prayer, walk with him and watch what happens. It is amazing. He changes your thoughts. He removes the past. He causes you to pursue things that bless him and excite him. He causes the things that have plagued your life to move away.